It's your league to dominate in EA Sports Madden NFL 27. Powered by the all-new Persona engine, you can build your franchise the way you want. And to really live your entire football journey, get the MVP Bundle. It comes with access to College Football 27, Madden NFL 27, plus Deluxe Edition rewards in both games. From campus legend to NFL superstar, make your rise with the MVP Bundle. Learn more at EA.com. Rated E for everyone with mild lyrics, user interact, and in-game purchases includes random items.
Suffering from dry, tired, irritated eyes? Don't let dry eyes win. Use Systane Pro. It hydrates, restores, and protects dry eyes for up to 12 hours. Systane Pro. Triple action dry eye relief.
I wrote a little song to remind you. Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Cocktails up here feel just right. Is Cambria amazing? All right. Bring a date, your team, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com. See you on the roof.
After 5 years and over 400 episodes on the channel, it's safe to say that this podcast has inflicted an insurmountable amount of damage on the psyche of the guests. Well, strap in, because this time around, the guests picked the movies and they chose violence. Prepare thyself for the most messed up collection of crap on this special 5-year anniversary edition of Grading on a Curve. What is up, everyone? Welcome to this edition of Grading on a Curve on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel. Hello to all of our listeners in Tokyo, Japan, and around the world. How the heck are you guys doing? And happy 5-year anniversary to this podcast channel. It is an insane amount of movies that we have talked about over the last, I don't even want to count, but over 240 episodes of It's Not That Bad, over 140 episodes of Keep Watch Pass, and throwing in a few Grading on a Curves as we go along. And it's a special one, not just because we're celebrating 5 years on this channel, but I will admit that over numerous episodes, I throw these movies at people and they watch them willingly because they're idiots like me. And some of them we have a good laugh at. Some of them, they question whether I'm doing this for entertainment or some weird sadistic pleasure. It can be both, dear people. So this time around, all the guests, the panel, has brought their own movies to the show. I am the only one who has not inserted a movie into the mix for this episode. So let me go around the table and introduce each of the bringers of the instruments of destruction, starting with my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm great, and I'm ready. I know why I'm here, contractually by marriage, but...
This is why you read the contract before you sign the marriage license.
Well, now you tell me it's a bit late, but...
It was in volume 4.
I'm fascinated why our friends stick around every grading, because when you say I chose violence, I kind of did, actually, now that I reflect upon the movies. But, this has been fun. It's been a fun ride.
All right. Also, Alex Leal's back on the show. Alex, how are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm excited. But, Carrie, you said that you chose violence. I'm sorry, but you're not the person that chose violence. There's someone else here that chose violence. And I want to bring up the Peter Griffin meme where he brings out the loaded shotgun and says, I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk to this person.
No, I think it was actually Pauly Shore who chose violence with Stephen Baldwin. There was a lot of fighting in my movie.
All right. Well, the person that Alex would like to have a conversation with is Carson Elcombe. Carson's back on the show. How you doing, man?
Oh, buddy, I'm living the dream. Usually I kind of give me the throw to introduce myself. I'm pretty peeved about the week I've had and what I've had to watch, but that would just be knocking myself, and I can't be doing that today. So I'm doing well, and I'm looking forward to diving into 5 just incredible pieces of art in today's day and age.
You said that with a straight face.
I was dialed in. I know what I want today.
and you want an end to your suffering. I get it. I understand.
Yes, that too.
Lyle Robishaw's back on the show. Lyle, how you doing, man?
Yeah, this is a difficult one because we all picked these and I have no one to blame. And I'm gonna save my absolute crucifixion of somebody until we get to the movie in question. I'm gonna wait till later on in the episode.
Well, we'll have to see who is getting crucified because Joseph Whalen is also on the show. Dude, how are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm happy to be back. This is a fun one. Other than the two pieces of media that should not exist. And I won't mention which ones those are until I get to it. But it was a fun time watching these really bad movies. And I have no one exactly as you said, Jason. I mean, I can't blame you. You have been sort of the beacon of like everything that is a problem within my life over the last. Actually, that's wrong. That's not fair. That's not.
No, that's probably pretty freaking accurate.
See how he feigns innocence to all of this. Like, I didn't do this. I didn't select the movies.
Okay.
I am a free pass. No.
Okay, when we do the Razzies episode, that is not entirely me. I am just one vote amongst the Razzies. Every other episode of Grading on a Curve, I can take full credit for just
blame
the credit. Yes,
blame.
Okay, you say potato, I say I'm innocent in this one. So just let me get this out of the way right now. 2 out of 5 panelists, okay, who have brought these movies to the table. You, and you. Now that I have that out of my situation or out of my system, it's time to find out exactly what movies we're going to be talking about in the Pentagon of Pain. If revenge is a dish best served cold, then we're recording in an icebox and everyone brought cutlery like it's the Ides of March. Et tu, Brute? Behold, thy reckoning is upon us as we introduce the combatants in the Pentagon of Pain. First up, after Encino Man, Pauly Shore had everyone saying, "Hey, buddy." In 1996, he'd had everyone saying, "Hey, buddy, please stop." Witness what an apparent lack of oxygen does to the brain in Biodome. Our second flick can best be described as the wizarding Tai Chi elemental avengers of the Old Republic. I have a sixth sense that will dread M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender. Next, why be annoyed by one lackluster, annoying Adam Sandler performance when you can BOGO your pain? Behold the power of the Razzie Sweeper, Jack and Jill. Next up, a film that took 15 years to get from idea to initial release and 15 seconds to make you beg off ever going into a grocery store ever again. Grab a helmet. You're gonna need one for Food Fight. And finally, a film that can best be described as technically a movie. Your Honor, we present to you Exhibit A in the case to prove that not everyone should have access to a camera in the internet. It's I Want to Be Ninja, the movie. Now, the time has come. The instruments of death chosen, and there is no escaping the fate. Let the ranking of the rank begin.
Wow. That
well
was
done.
Now is when we
Epic.
figure out who picked what.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to name and shame as we go. Because some of these people have some apologizing to do for us. And we're going to be going through these movies in chronological release order because you got to find some way to kind of go through them. Which means that we're going to be starting with Biodome, starring Pauly Shore, Stephen Baldwin, William Atherton, Joey Adams, Teresa Hill, Henry Gibson, somehow Kylie Minogue, Denise Dowse, Kevin West, Rose McGowan, Taylor Negron, Dara Tomanovich, And somehow Tenacious Frickin' D, Jack Black and Kyle Gass are in this film, directed by Jason Blum. Kylie Minogue has actually said that doing this film was the worst career move she ever made. Yeah, that's saying something. The film had a budget of $15 million. Worldwide, only made $13 million. When it was released, and we're gonna put some age on this one for you, dear listeners. When it was released on the January 12th, 1996 long movie weekend, because yeah, someone thought this was apparently holiday fare, it debuted at number 9 with $6 million. The top grossing debut that week was, and this is a movie title. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. That is a movie title that debuted at number 2 with 9.6 million. I want to say that movie title again because I have a feeling this is something I now want to put on our list, on our whiteboard. Don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. I'm going to let that just soak in for you all.
That sounds like a bonus track off an album.
Right? Eye for an Eye debuted at number 3 with 7.9 million. But there were 2 other slightly lesser debuts. Dunstan Checks In debuted at number 12 with $4 million. And Two If by Sea debuted at number 11 with 5.2 million. So somehow, some way, Biodome made more money at the movie theaters in their debut week than Two If by Sea and Dunstan Checks In. How? And it's not even a number of theaters thing because Two If by Sea was in 200 more theaters than Biodome.
1996 must have just sucked for movies.
Well, let me tell you exactly how bad it sucked. Because the lowest debut that weekend at the box office at number 19 with $1.6 million was Lawnmower Man 2 Beyond Cyberspace.
Beyond Cyberspace. How you get Lawnmower Man? Like, I recognize what Lawnmower Man is all about, but
who? At the 1996 Stinkers, it won for most painfully unfunny comedy. Stephen Baldwin won for worst on-screen hairstyle. I kind of don't hate that. And Pauly Shore was nominated for worst actor, but lost to Tom Arnold for Big Bully, Carpool, and The Stupids. And at the 1997 Razzies, Pauly Shore tied the win for worst actor with Tom Arnold. As is most of the movies on this list we're going to be talking about today, on Wikipedia's list of films considered to be the worst. Now, the reason why we are here, because Carrie picked this film.
Yes, I did.
All right, Carrie, critics. You get a pass. You survived this round.
I just want to talk to you.
This isn't the one. This isn't the one.
All right. Rotten Tomatoes. Film has a popcorn meter of 51% with a Rotten Tomatoes score of 4. Over at the Movie Database, 46%. IMDb, 4.5 stars out of 10 for a 45% score. Letterboxd, 2.2 stars out of 5 for a 44% score. And this is where we're going to put a little history on this one. Biodome is tied with 5 other films over at Metacritic for the lowest score of all time, with a Metascore of 1. 1. I'll tell you all the films here. First one, United Passions, a film basically trying to glorify FIFA.
Oh.
Death of a Nation, directed by Dinesh D'Souza, which tells you everything you need to know. Chaos, a really bad horror movie starring Stage Stallone. The Singing Forest, somehow a love story about reincarnation in the Holocaust. And The Garbage Pail Kids, which of course we've talked about on this podcast before. But yet, still with all of that, has an aggravated aggregate of 31.83%, making this the highest rated of the 5 films we're going to be talking about today from an aggregate score, even though it has tied the lowest Metacritic score of all time. So, Carrie, I am going to start with you on this one since you brought this serving of slop to us here. Biodome, what did you rank it as?
I have it right down the middle at a 3. Even though I was the one that's responsible for bringing it to the table, you know what? I found it fun. I did. And if you can suspend all belief in reality and just kind of detach from any sort of rhyme or reason or how things actually work in the world, it's a good movie. It's not bad. It's watchable.
Oh, dear God. Well, I mean, at least I can say it's a movie, which is more than I can say for one or two of the films.
It is definitely a motion picture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Of appropriate cinematic length and actually did see the box office. So we're halfway there, which means it's also my number 3 as well. I mean, part of the saving grace of this film is that you get to walk into this film saying, okay, it's a Pauly Shore film. So you can put your brain on vacation for a while.
Because
It's kind of nice, yeah, to see like a younger Joey Lauren Adams performance. You've got a younger Rose McGowan performance in there. Kylie Minogue, who I know is a decent actor because she appeared in an episode of Doctor Who, one of the Christmas specials. You're welcome. And they did look like they were having some fun. There were some decent gags in this, a lot of physical humor. It knew exactly where its strong points were. And if you're looking for a brain dead stoner comedy kind of thing, you could do worse. You could do way better, but you could do worse than Biodome. Lyle, where are you going to put this, buddy?
This is one of those ones I'm just going to read you my notes because I have not only had not seen this movie, this is my first Pauly Shore movie ever. I had never watched anything with Pauly Shore in it. I knew him from the Family Guy jokes. I had seen some stand-up things. So I was like, this is a whole fresh slate for me. So it begins with, so this is just Beast Games, but with complete idiots, right? Wow, his voice is terrible. Free mahi mahi, if you will. Oh no, do I love this movie? A lot of Nazi jokes, which is oddly topical. Tiny Elvis has stage fright. Oh no, I love this movie. I don't care if they're being serious or not. This is way more funny than I expected it to be. Where'd you come from? Well, my mom and the authorities are still trying to figure that out. That popped me really hard. This is a 2. I enjoyed this. You said check your brain at the door, funny stoner comedy. Me and my girlfriend were laughing way too hard at this movie. We knew it was stupid. We knew it was bad, but it didn't make me physically ill like a lot of the other ones. So it's a 2 for me.
Yes.
Now, by 2, you mean ranking or 2, you mean it's a
Both. I would say both.
Yes.
I think that fits. Yes, I think that fits. No, this wasn't offensive in any way. It was a time capsule of the time for sure. Like it felt so of its time period that it hurt. It was definitely like written by Pauly Shore and made as a vessel for Pauly Shore, which to emerge from like a cocoon. And it was all centered around him and Baldwin. But I thought it was funny. I thought it was a great concept. 2 idiots get trapped in like a science experiment with actual smart people. And then the very real thing that would happen, the 2 idiots become popular. So the marketing team decides to run with them. Like, I thought it was a good story. I enjoyed this one more than I thought I was going to.
Yeah.
Yes. If I may, does it not pave the way for like the buddy movies? Like whether it's, and I'm just putting it out there, Bill and Ted or
Okay, but Bill
Jay
and
and
Ted
Silent
came
Bob.
first.
Jay and Silent Bob, right?
I was going to say
It
like
is-
Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Harold and
Yeah,
Kumar
yeah,
can
yeah.
very easily see, yes. But
Yes.
I mean, the thing is, it's also coming, shortly after kind of, I hate to say, peak Pauly Shore, because I mean, you had Encino Man, which is a good film, right? Yeah, Encino Man, where everyone else in the movie seems to win an Academy Award except for him. You also had Son-in-Law, which was it's a good, fun movie. You had In the Army Now, which is not bad. This one, I laughed. I'm not gonna lie, I laughed. There were times I'm like, kind of laugh, but there was still laughter in there. Alex, Biodome, what you got?
Lyle, I'm going to one up you right now, and I may go a little crazy on this, but this is my number one. This movie is my number one.
Yes. Go,
Honestly,
Alex.
I see that compared to the other stuff. This is definitely one of the ones that was like more stomachable.
Exactly. So it's very raunchy. Like, this is a very raunchy film, but it's just fun. It's just a fun, lighthearted movie, and I loved it. It had a story, unlike some other movies that we're going to talk about a little later. I never knew I wanted to see more of Pauly Shore after having to deal with that weird Pinocchio movie he did. That was something. I really wanted to just die from that movie. The main villain just shows up at the end to be the antagonist, just to be evil. Sure, movie, whatever you say. And the guys just want to get laid. And to be fair, with them being stuck in the dome for a year, I approve. I approve of it.
Oh man. I can't believe that's your number one. But again, you also brought Norbit to the podcast one time, so that kind of squares. Joseph, Biodome, what you got?
Yeah, so I'm kind of in lockstep with Lyle. Number two for me, and a lot of the same commentary overall. Yeah, like, this is a bad movie, like, sure, but it's better than the other three that I have ranked below it. And like, yeah, like, these guys are like pretty irredeemable overall as characters. Like, they were annoying as all hell to listen to for 90 minutes. But, you know, it is what it is. Like, that's just kind of what this style of comedy is. Definitely one where it's like, if you just get baked and watch it, you're going to have a great time. And yeah, and then also Kylie Minogue, which is a separate point in my notes. Just that. Also Kylie Minogue.
Just underline Kylie Minogue.
Just want to point out Kylie Minogue. So yeah, which also this movie, as Lyle pointed to, is like a vessel. I think it was primarily just a vessel for him to write a movie where he makes out with Kylie Minogue. I think that's like, I think that is the be all end all of this movie as far as Pauly Shore was concerned.
There was a couple of times where you're watching it and you can almost tell the rest of the cast is standing around with their arms folded, like, no, let him finish. He made this. Like,
he's been dreaming of this. So no, anyways, yeah, number two for me. I think it's pretty inoffensive in the grand scheme of things, considering it is a pretty offensive comedy in the grand scheme of things.
I'm sure Kylie Minogue was offended the entire way, all the way through. Carson, wrap us up here. Biodome, what you got?
All right, I'll take us home. Honestly, this movie is not nearly as bad as anyone has made it out to be. I'm with you, Jason and Carrie. Like, this is my number 3, slot it right in the middle. But there's in the grand scheme of this list, like, the only thing that I had an issue with, like, as a grand scheme of the movie, was that it just gets boring at times. I can completely understand how there is such a great early mid-90s like buddy comedy starting point from this. It actually reminds me a lot of Half Baked with Dave Chappelle, and it reminds me a lot of Screwed as well, which is funny. They're both Dave Chappelle side movies, but in the same kind of vessel of it. I think with Pauly Shore, and I've seen a few of his movies, I think his comedy really shines when he can vary landscape and environment. So I think having him stuck in the dome is also, like, it's obviously the key to the story, but it's also like his hindrance of, I think, his actual ability as a comedian. Because I think when I look back to other movies, he's very good at adapting to an environment, and it just got stale for me as the environment continued to be what it was. But, like, quite honestly, and to be completely honest with the people in this room, I got halfway through this movie, and then I thought, you know what would make this movie better is a little Benjamin rip. So I was like, all right, I've watched the first half. Maybe I'm going to take a quick hit and see how the next half is. And you know what? To no one's surprise, the second half ended up being better than the first. So I will say it's the perfect buddy comedy for that kind of vibe, and it fits the 90s aesthetic well. But yeah, it's a 3 for me. But sorry to cut you off, Jason. We're going.
The only thing going through my mind through this whole thing is, why does William Atherton always have to play someone that you want Holly Gennaro to show up and just punch right in the face?
Yes, absolutely.
Pay's checkout is offered by your banks and credit unions. So when you shop online at participating merchants, your cards appear in one place, ready to use and kept up to date. And the best part, your actual card number isn't shared when you check out, because boundaries are healthy, like no work emails after 6. One small step for boundaries, one big leap for checkout. Pace. It checks out. Activation required. See Pace.com to learn more. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Starbucks.
That is fire. Whoa, that's good.
This might be the drink of the summer.
Okay, I like this one too. I'm rocking with it. Okay.
Try it for yourself. Starbucks Refreshers concentrates are coming home. Find them in the coffee aisle and make it yours.
Next up is The Last Airbender, starring Noah Ringer, Dev Patel, Nicola Peltz, Jackson Rathbone, Sean Tube, Asif Mandivi, Seychelle Gabrielle, Francis Guinan, Randall Duck Kim, Isaac Jin Solstein, Kyung Sim, John Noble, Catherine Houghton, Damon Gupton, Summer Bishel, and Cliff Curtis. Directed and written by M. Night Shyamalan. Film had a budget of $150 million. Domestically, it only made $131 million, but worldwide, $319 million. When it was released, what is it with bad movies being released on long weekends? When it was released on the July 2nd long weekend, it debuted at number 2 with $51 million. So it did fairly well, but debuting number 2 right behind the Twilight Saga Eclipse, which just raked in the money. Naturally, people want to go see that one. Don't know why, but they did. At the 2010 Teen Choice Awards, it was actually nominated for Choice Summer Movie, but lost to Twilight Saga Eclipse. At the 2011 Young Artist Awards, Noah Ringer was nominated for Best Performance in a Feature Film, Leading a Young Actor, but lost to Jaden Smith in The Karate Kid. And Seychelle Gabrielle was nominated for Best Performance in a Feature Film, Supporting Young Actress, but lost to Stephanie Scott in Flipped. And then there are the other kind of accolades, the ones that we always deal with here. At the 2010 Arena Palme d'Or Awards, Dev Patel was nominated for Worst British Actor, but lost to Aaron Taylor Johnson for Chat Room. At the 2010 Houston Film Critics Society Awards, it was nominated for Worst Picture, but lost to Jonah Hex. I can understand why. At the 2010 Golden Schmoes Awards, it won for Worst Movie of the Year. And then at the 2011 Razzies, Jackson Rathbone won for Worst Supporting Actor for this and the Twilight Saga Eclipse. So he was in both movies that debuted at number 1 and number 2 that weekend, beating his co-star Dev Patel in that category. Nicola Peltz was nominated for Worst Supporting Actress, but lost to Jessica Alba for The Killer Inside Me, Little Fockers, Machete, and Valentine's Day. M. Night Shyamalan won for Worst Director. The movie won for Worst Eye-Gouging Misuse of 3D, won for Worst Screenplay, won for Worst Picture, was nominated for Worst Prequel, Remake, Ripoff, or Sequel, and nominated for Worst Screen Couple or Ensemble. In both cases, they lost to Sex and the City 2. This film is also on Wikipedia's list of films considered to be the worst. Over at Rotten Tomatoes, the film has a tomatometer of 5. Popcorn meter, 30%. IMDb, 3.9 stars out of 10 for a 39% score. Metacritic, Metascore of 20. And at the movie database, 47%. But over at Letterboxd, 1.2 stars out of 5 for a 24% score. Now, while that doesn't seem bad, I need to point out that this film is the 11th worst film of all time on Letterboxd. This is putting this movie in like the same, if you were to actually do a search on Letterboxd of all the films ranked by rating lowest first, it gives you rows of 12 movies. This film is in the top row of films, along with such legendary films as Ice Cube's War of the Worlds, the Melania documentary, 365 Days, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, and other fantastic works of art, giving this film the aggravated aggregate of 27.5%. And since Joseph brought this one to the table,
Knew it was you. As soon
we're
as I saw it
gonna
on the
let him
list.
kick this puppy off. Joseph, what's your pick? What you got there?
Okay. So I do have quite a bit to say about this. It's my number 3 because it is not unwatchable. However, there is just a lot to get into with, first and foremost, like I don't want to really get into, there's been a lot that's been said about the casting of this movie. Predominantly white children in a series that very clearly represents Asian culture. That's weird. Why did you do that? Don't do that. But I love the animated series so much. And even the new live action on Netflix is quite okay. It's fine. It does a pretty faithful job of sticking to the source material while also introducing newer elements, sort of weaving things together that didn't happen. But in this instance, this just felt like such a slap in the face to the source material because they go out of their way to do it. They mispronounce everything. Every character's name, basically. Sokka, right out of the gate. Katara calls Sokka Sokka. And I'm like, what are we doing? General Iroh, Uncle Iroh, referred to as Ero. Who the hell is that? No, that's not. And also, I'm fine that, listen, okay. Iroh, he doesn't need to be this, like, you know, this chubby guy. He doesn't need to be. It doesn't need to be. But it's a part of what makes him disarming. It's a part of what makes him sort of, to the crowd that's watching, they're thinking, well, this is like an old man. He's not going to be able to do anything. But that becomes so much more of like, it's just a paradox of like who he is as a person that by the end of it, you're like, oh, actually, like the Dragon of the West, this guy is legit. So the fact that he wasn't as disarming, that kind of like really just immediately, I'm just like, man, like you're really taking an element of this that was kind of important to this guy's character and just kind of like just retconning it as if it doesn't matter. Other stuff, I mean, yeah, the mispronunciations were big. The big thing for me, the most annoying thing was a scene that they sort of repurposed in a way where in the animated series, after Zuko rescues Aang as the Blue Spirit, they have this conversation about, you know, Aang brings up, do you think that we could be friends? And it's as Zuko's like laying there unconscious and Zuko wakes up and shoots him with fire. In this live action, Aang just off. He's just like he's on the, like Zuko's there on the ground. We don't know if he's okay or not. And Aang just goes. And it's like, that is so far against the character that's presented in the animated series as being a good-natured idealist who's trying to see the good in everybody, including somebody who's just chasing him down for a year. So the fact that they did that later in the Northern Water Tribe, where it's basically like Zuko's got his head frozen underwater and he's going to get out of it because he's a firebender or whatever. But like still, like Aang, like the good-natured Aang, as he's supposed to be, just takes the top off of his head and then the ice over his head so he can breathe. But it's like, that isn't enough to justify what we're supposed to think about this character, that Aang is not just the avatar for the nations that believe in the avatar. He's supposed to be the avatar for all of the nations, and he's supposed to cultivate these relationships. So I was just really at a loss with some of the decision making in terms of the narrative structure of it. The airbending looked pathetic, like like the water bending, the fire bending, it looked fine enough, but the airbending just looked really weird and not really well done. I don't know what they could have done differently. The only other narrative thing that I wanted to bring up was it really downplays how much Katara taught Aang how to waterbend, which is also a major part of it. She didn't have the difficulty of not being able to be taught by the Northern Water Tribe water guy. I forget his name in the, but the mentor guy in the Northern Water Tribe. But in any case, yeah. So like I know that's kind of been a long and rambly go of it here, but it is not so bad. Like, it's not like the bones of something I really like are there, which is why it's 3. But unfortunately, it's like Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park, where it's the mound of and underneath that mound is the bones of the thing that I really like. So it is, not a great adaptation. of a very, very like a great story that feels like it should have a very good live action counterpart. Now it kind of does with the live action on Netflix, but maybe it's just one of those things that's just not meant to have a really compelling live action counterpart to it. But in any case, I have it at number 3. It's fine, not great, not unwatchable.
All right, Alex, over to you. Airbender, what you got?
Joseph, I think you already put the nail on the coffin there with talking about the original animated version and how this one just didn't live up to it, and it's just like it's so broken. This one for me is my number 2 because I still think from the other movies that we have here, this one is at least watchable as well. And this is a good movie. Like, there's good parts in this movie. The problem that I have is that it is so slow and so meandering at points. And then you would see the weird cuts or when scenes would just end randomly. I'm like, what are we doing here? Does anyone know how to edit here? No one does. It's just pathetic. And the narration. Oh my god, the narration pissed me off. I'm sorry, does anyone know Show Don't Tell? Does anyone know it here? I love M. Night Shyamalan. Mind you, I think he's a great director. But this movie was set up for him to fail. Especially with how big the original animated series was. This movie was set up for him to fail. And he did. I love the bounce back that he had after that with his new movies that are coming out after. But this movie was just not for him. It is hard to adapt a very popular animated series or a very popular animated movie in live action because it's so different. You're not going to be seeing that real animated faces or anything like that, or when characters actually have those faces in animated version, you're not going to see that. That's why I don't like these live action movies that Disney are making. It just doesn't work in live action. But I still think fundamentally the movie is watchable and the movie is decent. It's just at its core, it's very rotten because there are a lot of problems throughout the movie that just stack upon stack upon stack to make it just bearably to watch.
All right, Lyle, over to you. Last Airbender.
Okay, so I have an interesting angle on this because I did not watch the animated series through to completion. Joseph was actually the one that put me on to the animated series, was like, you need to watch this. So I watched it later on and I got through like the first 3 seasons of it. It is really good, but this is actually my number 1 out of all of this. And the reason being is if you don't have the emotional attachment to it and you go into it with like, kind of a blank slate, it's not horrible. Yes, the cast was whitewashed and that sucks. It is terrible. The cast of the animated series dances circles around this movie. And Iroh is just not the same character whatsoever. 100%. Like, that is a huge fumble. And yes, all the fight scenes do look like something you'd see at a theme park for one of the stunt shows. That's what it looks like. Like it looks like it was choreographed for a Canada's Wonderland midway performance. Everybody just waits and sits and waits for someone to come at them. And then they do some weird CGI move and they wait for the next person to come at them. And you're kind of screwed from the get-go when you're trying to wrap an entire series up into 1-2 hour movie. You're already behind the 8 ball in an extreme way. So the fact that they were like out of the water tribe and like flying around on Appa doing things within the first like half hour, I'm like, there's just so much you're going to try to cram in to this. But overall, it's enjoyable. If you don't think about the animated series whatsoever and you just treat this as like a one-off, it was a breath of fresh air compared to the rest of this stuff, because at least there was plot lines to follow. At least it did look good for the most part. Like the bending, you could have really fumbled the bag there, but you didn't. It was interesting for me to watch this for the first time as well. I had never seen this movie previous to this. Does it suck? Absolutely. Does it suck as bad as the rest of the stuff on this list? No, but that's because, again, my childhood is not tied into the original show. So it stays at a 1 for me, and it was a fun watch.
See, I'm kind of in the same boat as Lyle here, but even more so because I haven't even watched a single episode of the animated series. I I know the series exists, and that is the level of my knowledge of it. So I'm kind of in the same boat where it's like, did I enjoy it? Yes. Because there are elements of other things I like. Like if you like Star Wars, if you like Harry Potter, if you like some of these other kind of things, there's going to be aspects of this film that you do like. Yes, the production value is there. Admittedly, they kind of, we met the earth elementals there, the rock movers there, Battle of the Rock Lords, and then rock. We got fire, we got water, we got air. We don't need rocks. So I'm fine with that. You had the uncle, which is basically like your Temu Sirius Black all the way throughout. Commander Zhao is such a passive aggressive bitch through the whole thing, but I kind of actually like it. But the thing is, it's a ambitious movie to take on that kind of property and to put it all into one movie. And I know they were going to talk about doing sequels and all that, and then it's like, oh well, that no one liked this, so we're just going to not do that. I have nothing against the kid actors in this. I don't hold any of the whitewashing backlash against any of them. If you're offered a role to be in a potentially huge franchise based on a beloved animated series as a kid actor, you're going to jump all over that. And I think they did a decent job, even though I question whether Sako actually blinks through the whole film. But it's my number one, because I found myself, while I wasn't thrilled by it, I wasn't put off by it, and I could see the potential that's there. Carson, over to you. Last Airbender.
I am very aligned with you and Lyle on this one, to be completely honest. And I think something I want to preface before I get into my kind of opinion of it is, look at the time this came out and then look at the other animated live action movies that were released. So you have obviously Last Airbender, you have Speed Racer, and you have Dragon Ball. All three at the time raked over the coals. Like, just abhorrently reviewed, review bombed, people did not like it, so on and so forth. And then the next part of this that I want to get to is that I never like you guys was an Avatar, Last Airbender person. So like, I've seen a few episodes here and there, and I understand the color and the whimsy, and there's such a special place that a lot of anime holds in people's hearts. And the moment you're changing that, you're instantly open yourself up for a lot of fire. And connecting with that, and to clarify, one of my favorite movies of all time, it's actually in my top 5 all-time favorite movies, is the Wachowski Speed Racer. So this type of thing can be done, in my opinion, exceptionally well, exceptionally unique, and true to an anime style, as long as you have a suspension of belief. And Avatar here slides into my number 2, because I'm very similar with you guys, where yes, are there glaring issues? 100%. But when you look at the substance that's there, and you look at what they're trying to do, and at the end of the day, this is for kids. This is a movie that was based on a Nickelodeon TV show. You have to acknowledge that as part of its lineage. Am I floored that M. Night Shyamalan even connected his name to this? Yes, because it's so out of his space. I don't even know if he fully knew what he was getting into. And it falls into that trap of those late 2000s, early 2010s anime adaptations, where there's a bit of a fundamental misunderstanding of what you're supposed to be. And I'm not saying that's okay, but it's definitely par for the course on the set of movies we got during that run. There was just a fundamental missing piece of what we want. And I think a great example nowadays of how to do it right, and I can't necessarily speak to this myself, but from people around me and people that have seen it, is the One Piece Netflix series. I hear that's pretty popular. I hear that's very, very true to the original. And at the end of the day, these companies are going to find ways to get extra revenue, extra seats or butts and seats, extra eyes on their product by doing a live action remake. And we're seeing that kind of come closer and closer to releases. I think Alex mentioned it earlier, but like the whole Moana deal too. Like that original movie came out 10 years ago this year, and it's already got a live action release. So while
that didn't need to happen. That did not need to happen.
And I'm with you. I don't think we need to speed this up as much as it's going. But when you look back at Avatar as a movie, as someone that's unbiased to it, sure, are there inherently glaring issues, like even Joseph said, with how things are pronounced? Like, those are easy things to fix. Like, you could watch 3 episodes of the show and be like, oh, that's how it's done. Like, let's be real here. There's some sloppiness to it. But as an outsider that's watching this movie, it's exactly what I would expect to sit down with my kids and show them on a Thursday night when they can't go to bed. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad place to be. Honestly, my biggest complaint, artistically speaking, is that I feel like there's a dryer sheet over the camera this entire movie. I don't know why when I'm looking at fire, it looks like it's the most muted thing I've ever seen in my life. But so be it. So I think the long story short for myself, to sum it up, does this deserve a bottom 10 spot on any list in the world? Absolutely not. Give your head a shake. But yes, I can completely understand the frustration from diehard anime fans and such a passionate fan base as to why this did not live up to it. But as an outsider, this was a fun time. I didn't have an issue with it. Slots in a number 2.
And I wanna say, I meant to say that when I said it. I think a lot of the negative press this movie gets are from people who watch the show, because there's nobody that could watch this and say it is one of the worst films on, like, the fact it's in like the lowest 10, I think you said, Jason, on
it's
Letterboxd.
number 11. Yes.
Yeah. That doesn't track, but I understand why, because the show is beloved, but it is unfair at times when you just, well, it wasn't at all like the show, so it must be a god awful movie. And it's like, no, there are god awful movies out there, and some of them are based on properties, but just because it's a really bad version of that property doesn't make it, like, I'm sure it's down there with, like, yeah, the Rooms of the world and stuff like that. Like, it's not that bad. It really isn't.
No, it's not even close. There's no comparison to this and the rest of the bottom 10 list. Like, we got to be honest here from a review bombing perspective that it's not close. It's not at all.
I will say that over on Letterboxd, even though this is the 11th lowest rated film, the lowest rated film is one you actually mentioned. That was Dragon Ball Evolution. Yeah.
And I just want to tag Carson's point very quickly. I know I've said a lot already, but the two creators of it, like, because M. Night Shyamalan, obviously, why did he attach his name to it? I think a lot of the frustration from the fans of the original series, and even so now with the live action Netflix, is that the original creators, Michael Dante DiMartino and Brian Konietzko, were not a part of it, and weren't really in the room, or were sort of barred from the room for some reason or other. It's like, that's one of those things where it's like, if you're going to do this type of movie, have those guys in the room. That makes it probably a little bit of an easier thing to digest for the diehard fans of the animated series, but I digress anyway.
All right, Carrie, take us home on The Last Airbender.
Well, I agree with everyone, and I'm going into this not having known the lore or the property. I just think that the child actors did a really, really great job not knowing the source material, but I mean, they were believable, obviously young, and I think they played their parts well enough. And, you know, I put it as a number 2. Second place, what I really liked about the concept of this movie is the yogic philosophy of representing the elements and how we're all connected to the earth. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing. I mean, if that was the running theme of the movie, obviously representing, you know, the fire and water and air elements, and how, you know, even though they're, that is their superpower, that is what, you know, each element represents, that still they're all connected to the earth, and that's how it all kind of connects us all, or, you know, tying together the elemental powers. I just thought it was really cool, not knowing the source material and going into it as a movie that's enjoyable enough to watch. I mean, I would watch it with our kids. There was really nothing in my eyes being an outsider from, you know, the source or the lore of, not knowing the background, not knowing of it from, you know, the series or the animation or the anime aspect. I thought it was enjoyable to watch, and so I placed it in second place.
Mazda has been named Consumer Reports' safest new car brand. It starts with our approach. Every Mazda comes standard with proactive safety features, so you're more aware of what's around you, more focused on the road ahead, and ready before problems ever start. Mazda, more of what matters most to you. Go to MazdaUSA.com to learn more. Consumer Reports does not endorse or promote any product.
I didn't think the pain from the shingles rash would affect simple, everyday tasks like bathing, getting dressed, or even walking around. I was wrong. Though not everyone at risk will develop it, 99% of people over the age of 50 already have the virus that causes shingles, and it could reactivate at any time. I developed it, and the blistering rash lasted for weeks. Don't learn the hard way, like I did. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today. Sponsored by GSK.
All right, well, that brings us to Jack and Jill, starring Adam Sandler, Katie Holmes, Al Pacino, Eugenio Derbez, Tim Meadows, Santiago Segura, Nick Swardson, Alan Covert, Kristen Davis, Norm Macdonald, Dana Carvey, David Spade, and a ton of cameos. Directed by Dennis Dugan, who had also directed Happy Gilmore, Big Daddy, You Don't Mess with the Zohan, Grown Ups 1 and Grown Ups 2. Film had a budget of $79 million. Domestically, it only made $74 million. Worldwide, $149 million. When it was released on the November 11th, 2011 weekend, it debuted at number 2 with $25 million. The top grossing debut that week was Immortals with $32 million, and J. Edgar debuted at number 5 with $11 million. Of course, as 4 of the 5 films on this list is on Wikipedia's list of films considered to be the worst, and this is the first film in Razzie's history to sweep the Razzies in its year. In doing so, it also surpassed I Know Who Killed Me as the film with the most wins in a single year. It also won Worst Movie at the 2011 Golden Schmoes Awards and the 2011 Internet Film Critics Society Awards, and at the 2012 Alliance of Women Film Journalists Awards. They put this film into their Hall of Shame. The critics, Rotten Tomatoes, 3% tomatometer, popcorn meter of 36%. Letterboxd, 1.6 stars out of 5 for a 32% score. IMDb, 33%. Metacritic, Metascore of 23, and at the Movie Database, a 44% score, giving this film an aggregate of 28.5%. And Alex is going to tell us why he subjected us to all of this.
So, I suggested this movie because I know Jason has a huge love for Adam Sandler. It's massive.
Love is doing a heavy lift on that sentence.
So, this movie is my number 3. I don't know why this movie was such a pain to go through, because I thought I liked Adam Sandler movies before when I was younger. I don't now. I just, what was I even thinking? It's just so, it's so tough to get through his movies. Like, this movie is highly offensive, but it's still at least watchable at times throughout this movie, and it's still better than the other two. So that's at least something. Adam Sandler did cross-dressing on top of cross-dressing in this movie. Interpret that as you will. The only 3 things that save me in this movie is the real twins they show at the beginning and end of the movie, because it shows that they respect the material they are showing, and you love seeing people care for each other. Eugenio Derbez as Philippe, because he brought his sort of levity and charm to the movie. And obviously Al Pacino, because it's Al Pacino. Where else can you go wrong with him? The movie continues to be a who's who of cameos, though. I completely forgot that Johnny Depp was even in this movie in the first place. And also Shaq, for some reason. And Jared Fogle, which was random. And very offensive movie, but kind of just middling. It's just a whatever kind of middle ground movie for me.
All right. First of all, I find it very interesting that of the 3 films we have talked about so far, the person who brought the film to the party every time, this has been their middle of the pack film. Carrie, Biodome, number 3. Joseph, Last Airbender, number 3. Jack and Jill. Alex, number 3. Gonna be real interesting to see what happens going forward. So, Carrie, I know you're an Adam Sandler fan. Where have you got this?
I am. And before I state my placement, Alex, respectfully, I think you're wrong. First of all, Jay doesn't love Adam Sandler. You're thinking of the wrong 4-letter word when he thinks of Adam Sandler. And that would be starting with an F. I, however, am the one in the relationship that loves, with the capital L to the O to the V to the E. I love Adam Sandler movies, okay? I'm placing this as a number 1 top. Jack and Jill went up the hill and they secured the top space, the number 1 ranking. You know what?
Are we surprised? No one's surprised.
What's surprising me the most is that I had never seen this movie. This movie was never on my radar. I didn't even know it existed until you brought it to the table, and I want to thank you because I enjoyed it. First of all, and at the core of an Adam Sandler movie is that he is just so damn likable. I don't think that I could name an Adam Sandler movie where I don't wind up liking him. You just side with him. Even little Nicky, right? When he's supposed to be the son of Satan, like the devil himself within, he is just so goddamn likable. You can't not, he just has a charisma. He has a way of just like a kindness that, you know, is really understated, I think. And in this movie where, you know, I mean, clearly there was some family drama and he just wanted his sister to go back to her home and, you know, he wanted his life back. His life gets completely turned upside down when his sister comes to visit. And, you know, the Al Pacino element of this, holy crap. Like, Sandler must have had pictures of Pacino to Dunkachino, really? Holy like, how did, you know, Al Pacino, how did Scarface agree to this? But anyway, I digress. It was so incredibly enjoyable to watch. You know, what I found funny is that Al Pacino's biggest draw to Jill is that she grew up a block away from where he did in Brooklyn. Well, okay, so Jack, her brother, would have, lived there too? You know, like they would have grown up on the same block, but Al seemed to have a hate for Jack, but a real adoration for Jill. And you know what? It was fun. It was completely, you have to suspend all, you know, sense of reality and
shame.
And yeah. But you know what? It was an enjoyable watch. It was definitely the best of the lot. So I enjoyed it and I put it as my number 1.
All right, Carson, Jack and Jill, what you got?
It's so funny the way Carrie ended that, because I was thinking this whole time where I'm like, is this the ultimate closeted gay fantasy movie? Just in the sense that I'm like, I'm not even saying it disrespectfully at all, but I'm just like, is Al Pacino closeted gay the whole time? And it brings me back to that Norm Macdonald joke on I'm blanking on the host at the time. Can't even remember, but he's talking about he leans over to Norm and he's like, so what's something that maybe like the fans out there don't know about you? And Norm's like, well, you know, I'm a deeply closeted gay man. And he's like, wait, are you coming out to us? And he's like, no, absolutely not. I'm deeply closeted. It kind of brings me back to that joke that Norm Macdonald had. And honestly, I'm gonna say right off the bat, like, this is my number 4 movie, but like, it's not for the fact that I didn't like it. Like, Jack and Jill is such an interesting piece of, like, you had to be there when it came out. And I remember watching Iron Man 2, I think it was, and seeing the trailer for this beforehand in the early 2010s. And it might have been a different movie, but I'm pretty confident. And this one just, it kind of perplexes me. Because to throw a question out to our fellow panelists here, can any of you name me another movie that Al Pacino was in during the 2010s between the years after this happened and before The Irishman?
Oh, The Recruit.
Yeah, there's
Oh, yeah,
the
The
in
Recruit.
there.
Yeah.
Okay. So you
Now,
got
The Recruit
one
does
middling-
qualify, but it's a good movie.
I was going to say, fine movie, but that's the only one that also came to mind for me. And I think it's hilarious that, subtly known in Hollywood, this movie tanked Al Pacino's career pretty much until The Irishman in terms of relevance. And I think that's hilarious. But I'm also an Adam Sandler lover. And I feel like I got to defend the guy here real quick, because Just Go With It, one of the greatest comedies of the 21st century. Don't even try me. Incredible. Grown Ups, incredible. 50 First Dates, incredible. So I will defend this man pretty hard when it comes to the mid-late 90s SNL group over here. But outside of those are my positives to say. But like, Jack and Jill is one of those movies where when you own Happy Madison Productions and you can produce and somewhat have some leeway and kind of distributing this type of film, maybe you need someone else to kind of step in and be a bit of a middle ground of, hey, Adam, maybe let's not do A, B, C, D, or E. And you know what? I'm a hard Adam Sandler fan. I've seen this movie probably 3 or 4 times now. I leave it going, oh God, I don't know why I rewatched it. And yet every time I still choose to rewatch it. So that's why it's my number 4. I think it's odd. I think it's weird. I think it's cringy at times, but you know what? That's the man right there. So I'm not going to put it less than 4.
All right, Lyle, over to you.
Wow. This was a ride. This was, because we've all missed some too. Here's the thing. Adam Sandler movies are basically their own subgenre. I think at this point, I think that's safe to say. You watch an Adam Sandler movie, and if you don't see any of the splash pages or the golf thing at the beginning, you still know it's an Adam Sandler movie. And you've got like Uncut Gems in there. You've got Blended in there. 8 Crazy Nights is one of the funniest Christmas movies that's ever been created. It's so funny. You've got 50 First Dates. You've got Click, which is a classic from my era. And then you have this steaming pile of which is what this movie is. This movie is insanely offensive to so many different kinds of people. You do have cross-dressing Inception in here. It's like that scene in Harry Potter where Helen Bonham Carter is playing Emma Watson, playing Helen Bonham Carter, except this time it's Adam Sandler cross-dressing to play himself cross-dressing.
Basically.
Fool Al Pacino. What a sentence. Al Pacino is the MVP of this movie. Every bit he's in is the funniest part.
Yes, it is.
All the way up to the end. Like it's a cameo fest like most Adam Sandler movies are. But Al Pacino is the best part of this movie when he's at the Knicks game and he's like got the fake beard on. That got a big kick out of me. Jared from Subway is in it, which also makes it a big ick factor. I also feel like at the end when Al Pacino's looking at the Dunkin' Donuts commercial and he's like, you have to burn this. No one can see this. I think that was just the post-production meeting for this movie. I think that was just them sitting down when the movie was over and he's like, no, we can't set this out into the world. It is my 3 because thankfully it is an Adam Sandler movie. So it's going to make you laugh at least 3 or 4 times. Legitimately. Like that's when she's picking her ears out and she's like, oh, that's too, I knew that one was going to be big. And he's like, no, keep it. We can make it a birthday candle. Like he gets his little zingers in that do make me laugh. So on that note, it has to be higher than the bottom 2 because the next 2 coming, I have words, but this sits right in the middle as a 3. It is very Adam Sandler comedy. If this movie came out in 1998, smash hit. This would have done numbers back in the height of the like Rob Schneider movie pandemonium that was going on at the time. If this would have came out, this would have done serious numbers. It was just like 10 years too late to the party. So it's my 3.
All right, Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, so I'm in full agreement with Carrie, actually. This is my number one. Looking beyond how like deeply offensive this is to all of the, as Lyle pointed out, just so many different people. The one thing about Adam Sandler is all of his movies have this distinct heart to them, that it's like good or bad, it's familiar. Like it's just like it's this thing that you know and that you can like I think start to finish, I've watched 4 Adam Sandler movies. I've not watched a lot of Adam Sandler movies in the grand scheme of things, but the ones I've watched, it's like, yeah, like as Carrie points out, it's hard to dislike him. Yeah, in this movie, he puts it to its absolute limit. I will say that. Like him cross-dressing and then the cross-dressing Inception, yeah, like that is putting it to its absolute limits, I will say. But yeah, it's not like relative to everything else. I was like, this is a fine enough. Like I am sort of enjoying this enough that it's probably going to be my number one. It has all the beats that you expect from Adam Sandler, right up to the point of him being married to somebody like inexplicably that is just so much like Katie Holmes. Like Jesus Christ, man! Like Salma Hayek, you know, in Grown Ups, one thing. Katie Holmes, like that's right on that level too. It's like, brother, like you gotta. Jennifer Aniston, like, listen, man, he's doing well for himself and casting these love interests. I will say that. And Al Pacino, Big Daddy Khaki Pants, as he's known to people that like John Mulaney comedy. Yeah, he's fantastic. It's great. So yeah, it's my number one. I'll just say that.
Okay, did we forget Emmanuel Trickway in You Don't Mess with the Zohan? As far as
dare I say
upwards.
that Zohan is worse than this movie? I know it's not the conversation, but I'll honestly probably defend that.
I would say that Zohan is worse than this movie. His hit-miss ratio is insane, but when he hits, he hits. Like, Click
Agreed.
is a legitimate classic.
See,
Click is so good.
Here's where I'm just going to have people shaking their damn heads. I like Zohan. It's actually one of my favorite Adam Sandler films. And that's a
Sure.
very, 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 very small subset of Adam Sandler films. Full credit where credit is due. Every time we've ever done an Adam Sandler film on this show, and every note I've ever seen about the production, people like working with Adam Sandler because I guess it's a very family kind of vibe behind the scenes. Like, full credit to creating a warm, welcoming environment and making films. That being said, the humor in this, and I use that word with big ass air quotation, there are some genuine funny moments. The part where Jill crushes the horse, I got a good guffaw out of that one. The continual destruction of the grandma at the picnic, that was kind of funny. I do like a little bit of slapstick. Poor Katie Holmes. How did she get into this? But yet there were still funny moments in this. I found the story kind of back and forth. You know, they're getting back together and enjoying each other. Now they hate each other. Now they like each other. Now they hate each other. I was getting whiplash from the tonality shifts of this film, but yet I still found it funnier than Biodome. It's my number 2. And for me to put an Adam Sandler film in the top end of a grading tells you everything you need to know about the other films that we're going to be talking about here.
Yeah. The most impressive part of this movie was when they were on the cruise ship and Jill natty tricep pressed 3 plates. As a gym goer, I was impressed by that.
You're so wrong. The most impressive part of this movie is the fact that they not only got Al Pacino, but then got Dunkin' Donuts to also sponsor an entire segment of this.
That's
movie.
what I always think when I watch these Adam Sandler movies specifically. It's like, how does he get, like, anybody who watched Happy Gilmore 2, Happy Gilmore 2 was just a long cameo. And it's like, how do you know all these people? Like, how did everyone sign on for this? This movie too. How did you put this script in front of Al Pacino, Shaq, all those people, and were like, hey, do you want to be in this? And they were like, yeah. Is that just the Adam Sandler effect? Like,
yeah, it's the Kevin Smith rule, really. You work with your friends and...
But is everyone Adam Sandler's friend?
Yeah, and also, like, he's
so.
basically just adopted Rob Schneider like a UNICEF child and was like, don't worry, you'll have work forever. You can just be in what I make forever. Like, it's the same people every time, but somehow with new cameos.
David Spade.
So Jason, let me pose a question for you. Now that you have this movie as your number 2, does this change your opinions on Adam Sandler?
No.
Okay, there we go.
Crazy Nights. Watch Crazy Nights. That movie is infallible.
I can appreciate the production. I can appreciate the positive vibes while working on the movie, even if I don't enjoy the comedy, quote unquote, that's on the screen.
You have to respect though the movie, like the movie scene where they're sitting in the cinema and the child is beside them or in between, and how many takes did they have to go through to perfectly choreograph the Jack and the Jill in unison?
That was actually one of the better scenes. Absolutely.
Their mannerisms were on point, and it was so. But when they filmed it, they had the child in the center, so that's some impressive editing there. I have to give them props for that scene.
I will say it's impressive, to film wise, because there is so many scenes where they're standing right next to each other, and you could never tell that they did it in 2 takes. So I'll give them credit for that. But Mick Foley was playing 3 people at the same time on Raw forever ago, and it was better than this. So
come on, man.
Jack and Jill for all mankind. Okay. Food Fight, starring, I can't believe this cast list, Charlie Sheen, Wayne Brady, Hilary Duff, Eva Longoria, Larry Miller, Christopher Lloyd, Robert Costanzo, Chris Kattan, Ed Asner, Jerry Stiller, Christine Baranski, Lawrence Kasdanov, Harvey Fierstein, Cloris Leachman, Haley Duff, and Edie McClurg. Directed by Lawrence Kasdanov. This is the only feature film he ever directed. He's no more as a producer behind the scenes. The film was conceived in 1997, set for release in December 2003, and then in 2005, and then in 2007. And then the film had to be auctioned off because they missed payments to the creditors. Eventually it was released in 2012 by the company that bought this film at auction, and they released it in the hopes of actually making some money back, which they didn't. The film had a budget of $32 million. It did not have a North American box office release, so the worldwide gross on this film is a grand spanking total of $120,141. All of that box money coming from the United Arab Emirates, the UK, and Russia. This, too, is on the list of Wikipedia's films considered to be the worst. Over Rotten Tomatoes, no official totometer for this movie, a 12% popcorn meter. Letterboxd, 1.3 stars out of 5 for a 26% score. This is the 22nd worst film of all time on Letterboxd. IMDb, 1.3 stars for a 13% score, and the movie database 19%, giving this film the lowest of all our films, 17.5%. Now, I have to wonder, Lyle, exactly which PlayStation 1 did you use to watch this film on? Because the animation felt about as janky ass as possible. Food Fight, why'd you pick it and where you got it?
I am enamored with this movie. This is how you up every stage of production. Basically, this is a blueprint of what not to do in animation. It was this walked so Sausage Party could run. That's the best way I can put it.
That's a great one. That's a great analogy.
This was the prototype for Sausage Party, but it was like a decade before, and it is so terrible. The animation is so janky. The best way I can put it is it looks like one of those crappy direct-to-VHS Barbie movies that came out in the early 2000s, except worse.
How dare you associate Barbie with this film?
It was awful, and this was purely revenge for Dungeon Siege. I was like, because first of all, there had to be an animated movie in here because I'm such an animation fan. I was like, I got to toss the worst animated movie of all time. I've seen this several times. I actually watched this in film school because it is such a timeline of events.
You watched this in film school?
Yeah, because they show us really bad examples of things, and here's what happens if you don't follow the stages of production properly.
Got it. Okay.
And this was one of them. It's like this movie came out a decade later because it was so bad that it got shelved. Charlie Sheen is the only one given a single about what's happening. All the animations are janky. The squirrel looks like it has something deeply wrong with it on a neurological level. Like it looks like Reboot done badly on purpose. And it's my 4, but it holds a special place in my heart because when everyone is like, what is the worst thing you can show me? I usually toss them Food Fight. I've seen this too many times at this point for how much of a waste of 2 hours of my life that it is. It has weird romance things with a humanoid cat lady. There's only some actual mascots that made it in. Their plan was to basically go with everybody was supposed to be like a well-known mascot, but then a bunch of people pulled out. So you only ended up getting like Captain Crunch, Mr. Clean, and the rest of them are just, hellish nightmare fuel characters like the Naked Mole Rat Ninjas and stuff like that. It is an anomaly of a movie. It is my 4, and I'm glad that you all had to sit and watch it.
Okay, first things first. You said that this is the worst animated film that you could think of. This is the second lowest rated animated film on Letterboxd. The only one lower is Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
that's new. I haven't seen that one. So.
I haven't either.
So you have avoided that pain like the plague. I completely appreciate that one. Carrie, Food Fight.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. It sits at a 5. I don't have a lot to say about this movie. I think they tried to have a storyline and, okay. The California Raisins were in it, so that's something.
I don't know who I feel worse for, Katie Holmes in Jack and Jill or the California Raisins in Food Fight.
Oh, Mr. Clean. I feel bad for Mr. Clean and the squirrel that was like crying out. I'm guessing those were rosebuds or poop. I don't know. Look like rabbit turds to me. Could have been Maltesers. Who knows? Yeah, it's like the animators were the same team that brought Manuel Samuel, which is like a character with no bones and literally just kind of flails through the scenes. Yeah, I don't have much more to say about this movie. It's a 5. And if there were 10 movies, it would be a 10.
Okay, I have a lot to say. So first of all, Lyle, you. Anyways,
you, buddy, for I told you as soon as you sent the email out, I was like, I know exactly what I'm making you watch. Like, I did not have to think about this for a second.
Oh, okay. So we're even now. We're even. I get it. So first of all, I thought my television was on the fritz with how janky some of the animation is in. It's not. That's just the way it's animated. There's some weird thing. Like at one point, I guess they were saying like the hard drives were stolen. And yeah,
this movie had to be redone. Basically, yeah, this movie had to be redone on a budget.
The budget was. The budget was like basically 2 PS1s tied together to create a freaking render farm for this film, apparently. I mean, I don't mind the concept behind this. A very much kind of like a Toy Soldiers, Toy Story kind of vibe. Like when the store closes, they have this world. And you're right, Sausage Party kind of stems off from this idea, except for the eventual orgy scene in Sausage Party. So thank God we didn't get that in Food Fight. The whole thing of like the secrets inside. I'm like, inside what, you mother? Seriously, that slogan's not going anywhere. What drugs was Christopher Lloyd on when he was doing the voiceover work for this? Like, that's someone to get a recall.
I hope they just mo-capped him. That's what I think. I don't think that was even animation. That's just how he acted, and they just mo-capped him and put him in there.
Like, each of these characters look like what you find when you go to the boneless chicken section in the grocery store, because no one is moving in a way that's supposed to make sense. And I don't want to show this to my kids because I don't want to scar them for life. To hear that you had to watch this in a film class tells me that I'm not the worst teacher in the world out there. This is what yes, but it was shown to us under the guise of, okay, do you guys want to see what not to do? And we're like, yes. And then they showed us this.
So it was
Like-
very much as a cautionary tale.
This makes Tommy Wiseau look like Kubrick. That's how bad this film is. And yet it's still not the worst. It's not. It's my number 4. And I think it's more my number 4 because I can see where the initial idea would have made for a decent kids animated film. And then it just was not. This is what we got. And like, for those of you who, used like Source Filmmaker and played Valve games, and there's like a series of videos on YouTube, I know because our kids watch them, where it's like they take Source Filmmaker and they use like the things from Valve games like Team Fortress 2, and they make these little mini movies, and they're janky ass as well, but even some of those are so much better done than this. I'll give credit to the music. It's very much in that kids movie kind of vein. And I wonder if Hilary Duff, after doing the voiceover sessions, watched this film and going, you made my character look like that? But yet it's still not the worst film out there. Carson, Food Fight, what you got?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this movie is so sick.
What?
This movie is so good. And I don't know, I'm going to throw out a reference here that I don't know if all of you know, but Food Fight walked so that 2006 Dougal could run.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
Holy
no,
shit.
we're not doing this.
Holy shit. Not
This
Dougal.
movie is so good. This is my number 1 right off the bat.
Brother, I am
Food Fight is
floored. I am
so
floored by
good.
both the Dougal reference and the placement of this.
It's
I
so
don't
good.
understand.
I don't either, Carrie, and we're gonna get into that. I don't even understand myself here. But
Carson,
man, oh man,
Are you
Carson,
okay?
Yeah, please.
is everything okay at home?
Should we call
It's
someone?
brilliant.
Blink
Couldn't even
twice
be
if we need to
better.
call somebody.
Is Charlie
I mean-
Sheen in the room with you right now?
Okay.
Are you being
Pacino?
paid? Are you being paid by Charlie Sheen right now?
It's so hilarious you guys say that because I promise this has nothing to do with my bias. But literally before I watched this movie, I started rewatching 2.5 Men.
Oh,
I'm not even joking right now. So Charlie Sheen has just been in my mind for the last like month and a half.
I'm so sorry for that.
I was about to say, I'm pretty sure if you don't go to any like job interviews or anything, because if Charlie Sheen's been in your mind that long, you will test positive on a drug test, I think.
Are you winning? Are you currently winning?
Are you drunk on Tiger Blood?
Dude, the funny thing is I watched this movie stone cold sober, alone in my basement
that's not
apartment
advised.
in Regina, Saskatchewan. That's how dedicated to this movie I am. This was such a good time. And I think like the best part of it is that usually I don't look up anything before I watch a movie to try to be as unbiased as possible. But when I realized that this movie had been in development for 10 years before it came out, it made it so much more satisfying. Like, and Jason, you touched on it. The robbery, the meager box office, the fact
alleged robbery.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like, the alleged robbery in Santa Monica, the fact that Lawrence Kasanoff had not directed anything, especially animated before this, is just, it's all so good. I sat down and watched this movie on a Saturday night about 3 weeks ago. And I was off work and I was sitting there being like, all right, you got to take another one off the list. And boy, oh boy, if I didn't put on a piece of societal art on that Saturday night. Because this thing is so demonstrably atrocious as an animated film that this goes right with the War of the Worlds in our last episode. That it's so incredibly terrible that I love it more than you guys even understand. And as I said, this movie walked so Dougal could run. This early 2000s animation style where it looks like it could have been a PS2 cutscene is right in my wheelhouse when it comes to like my childhood nostalgia. And the funny thing is as I was watching it and we were going through it, I don't know if you guys ever watched Santa versus the Snowman.
Oh,
back
my
in like
God.
2004. I don't know if anyone even knows. Lyle, you seem like you know Santa versus the
You're
Snowman.
bringing up Santa versus the Snowman and Dougal. Get out of my head, bro. What is
Exactly.
happening here?
So then you're getting my vibe I'm trying to go with here.
Carson, how old are you?
I am 24.
Yeah, exactly. I'm 30, 31. So these kids don't know. They weren't there. They weren't there in the trenches with the terrible animation that we were handed.
It was so terrible. It was so good. Like Santa versus the Snowman was like a Jimmy Neutron produced ripoff of like stereotypical Christmas movies. It's got like a DVD short, and it's the exact kind of animation. And for some reason, this animation sits so warmly in my heart that you could give me The Room animated in this way, and I'd be like, this is a 9 out of 10. This is so good.
The Room animated.
Oh, God, no.
I want this now.
No, don't manifest that. Don't make it
It should
happen.
be War of the Worlds animated. Don't even care. Give it to me in this way, and I will be like, absolutely. This was incredible.
Is it bad that I was watching some of the animation and I was getting flashbacks to like the first days of Beast Wars?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's exactly what it looks like.
What this is.
It looks
100%.
like Beast Wars. It looks like Reboot. It looks like all of those shows where like FMV was the big thing and like super early 3D animation. Like it looked like it was state of the art and it cost a lot of money, but it's just horrific. Like it is monstrous at this point.
I mean, I know janky computer animation exists out there. I thought up until watching this film that the jankiest animation, computer animation that ever saw the light of day is, and you can watch this on Disney Plus right now, people, is the old Fox Iron Man animated series from the 90s.
Oh,
where,
you mean the one with the suit up sequence where he goes into 3D animation? Yeah.
Yeah. For no reason whatsoever. It's like they start to draw it and then all of a sudden they morph, like do like this weird morph cut into the CG, and it's so bad. And I'm like, why? Just why? Apparently food fight.
Because they could. That's
because
why,
they
Jason.
could.
Because they could.
Okay,
And
but
like,
Jeff Goldblum says just because you can doesn't mean you should.
And I take that example and I throw it out for this movie because I'm so glad they did. Like the fact that this movie's budget doesn't even have an actual number. They're just like, we think it's between 32 and $65 million. Makes it even better that you spend nearly $100 million, possibly, maybe, on this movie makes it so good. Like the story, and I will say it, biasly speaking, the story behind this movie makes it infinitely better than the movie itself.
Exactly. You have to look at it as like, how did this horrible monstrosity come to be?
And to think that the idea for this was to create some kind of franchise that would launch a studio that would basically be the equivalent of Pixar. Joseph,
Literally.
Food Fight, what you got?
Oh, man. Like, genuinely terrifying. I mean, the only thing more terrifying than the animation quality of this movie is thinking of the potential offspring between the Charlie Sheen dog and Hilary Duff cat lady thing, whatever the that was.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it looks like the animation quality looks like a lot of what you would see in really poorly done video game cutscenes from in and around this time. Probably like 10 years earlier, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But yeah, it's just like, it's scary, man. It's my number 4. And there are some, like, the inconsistencies in, like, the voice acting. Like the Vlad Chakul guy, which also, I will say, there are some funny moments in this movie. The thinly veiled, like, Vlad Chakul being a closeted or very openly homosexual and very much after Wayne Brady's little weird squirrel. That was very funny, but it's immediately sullied by the fact that the animation quality is just abhorrent. And yeah, his voice though, that Vlad Chakul is just so tinny in comparison to the other voice acting that you hear. Like everything else is like pretty full. There are times where he spoke where I'm just like, man, like this sounds like he's in a tunnel, like recording this on like a little mini recorder, and like it's just like far away. Like this guy is the furthest away from an actual voice acting booth that you could conceivably be. Yeah, no, it's just really bad. And as much as Lyle knew that I was the one that threw out The Last Airbender, I knew in my heart of hearts that this was the movie that he picked. Because I looked at this within 5 minutes. I was like, this is Lyle. this is Lyle.
I will say, as I was thinking about it, as you were talking about Joseph, I know I mentioned Dougal as my first example, but dare I say that this movie also walked so that Hoodwinked could run.
Yes! Oh my God, yes!
Yeah.
That's a great shout!
Hoodwinked is amazing. Hoodwinked is so good.
All right, Alex, take us home on Food Fight.
Lyle, let me just look at you straight up and just say you're going to be getting a pass for now because Carson, I have a bone to pick with you after.
Yeah.
I have a huge bone to pick with you after.
I'm glad you left this one for last.
Yes, me too. But yeah, this one has a story, I think. Like, it's there. Like, the pieces are there, but it's just somewhere. The animation is genuinely atrocious to look at. You know the meme of everyone getting scared and putting on Mickey Mouse, the Mickey Mouse song after a horror movie? That was me after looking at that animation. Like, I need that Mickey Mouse Clubhouse song into my brain right now.
If you got ears, it's time for cheers.
One of the lady generals looked absolutely hideous, and I would really like for her to leave my brain now, please. The humans walk so damn weird, and Carrie, you talked about it. It looked like they have no torso, like, whatsoever. It just looks strange. But I will say, at least this movie had some sort of mystery to it, and, like, you had to divulge through it, but I just can't forgive this animation for being absolutely atrocious. Like, Carson, you can talk about, like, War of the Worlds and how that one was fun and everything like that, but this one wasn't just fun for me. This was just atrocious to look at.
War of the Worlds is so sick.
It is, though. It is. I love War of the Worlds.
So this is your 4 then?
Yes, it is. This is my 4.
All right.
By the time I hit my 50s, I'd learned a few things, like how family is precious. Work can always wait. And 99% of people over 50 already have the virus that causes shingles. Not everyone at risk will develop it, but I did. The painful, blistering rash disrupted my life for weeks. Don't learn about your shingles risk the hard way. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today. Sponsored by GSK.
This episode is brought to you by Orgain. Orgain creatine monohydrate helps improve muscle size, strength, and power when combined with a regular exercise and weight training routine. It supports brain health, and it's certified with informed choice, so you can compete with confidence. Studies show that creatine may support brain health in vegetarians and aging individuals. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Whew. Carson. Line up here.
Carson, buddy.
Carson, please.
I'm going to start us off here, and then Carson is going to go around the table and personally apologize for bringing us I Want to Be Ninja, the movie, starring Jennifer Murphy, Tracy Lynn Cowan, Preston Galley, Lambo Lee, Regan Machado, and Vito Glazers. Written and directed by Jennifer Murphy, based on a song that she had written and released on YouTube, somehow used to try to sell Murphy beds that she was trying to promote. And then she had to take the video down because she was getting backlash for the really bad Japanese accent that she was putting on. And then she put it out there because apparently, screw consequences. Released June 21st, 2024. This movie, you can hear the air quotes, had a budget of $700,000. And I'm wondering where the hell they spent the money. There is no score at all on Rotten Tomatoes, either critic or popcorn meter. At Letterboxd, it sits at a 2.2 stars out of 5 for a 44% score. IMDb, 27%, and at the movie database, a 10% score, giving this film an aggravated aggregate of 27%. Carson.
What's up, mate?
Carson.
What the man?
Yeah, what the man?
This is your number 5. You chose this. You chose your own pain. Why?
I love this movie so much.
What? Love where?
It's like, okay, I gotta paint you guys a picture first because I feel like we need some
Of what? An enema?
Oh, goddamn room with pillows all along the walls and a straitjacket. All right. So
do you need a mental facility? Do you need a mental facility?
I'm sure I do. After what I just put all five of you through, and I want to say off the bat, I'm sorry. I knew what I was doing when I put this up there.
You know what, Carson? You're not sorry. I don't think you're sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm sorry, but in the sense that, like, I'm sorry that I accidentally took your food for the fridge where it tasted good, but, like, I'm sorry about it. That's kind of how I would define my opinion here.
Oh,
Jason sent out the email being like, guest's revenge. And I was like, what am I going to choose for guest's revenge? And I was sitting there, and I was thinking about it for a couple days, and it popped into my head of, nope, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And I will say that Carrie, Lyle, Alex, Joseph, all of you were innocent bystanders in this decision. Yes, I'm sorry you had to be a part of it, but that's life. I'm sorry to say. So let me take you back to August 26th. It's a Tuesday of 2025. I remember this date fondly because it was my 23rd birthday. And all of my family was out of town. They went on a trip for the summer, and I was working. I couldn't get the time off, and I was sitting there with my best friend. He lives in Waterloo, Ontario, and he brought over a 24-pack of Vancouver's finest Lucky Lager. And we're sitting there having a few bevies, and he says, well, like, we got to do something for your birthday. What are we going to watch? And I said, well, boy, oh boy, do I have a film for you. And I whipped up the best streaming service known to man, Plex TV. And if I didn't say, I haven't seen this yet, but man, I Want to Be Ninja may be the greatest, worst film you've ever seen in your entire life. And let me remind you, this was a Tuesday evening. I had to work Wednesday. And if, my God, I didn't finish that movie with only 3 beers left in that 24 case of Lucky Lager between the two of us. And may I introduce you to the greatest, worst film ever created by any human ever for a long-standing marketing ploy while being subtly racist throughout the entire film. I Want to Be Ninja is that movie.
Subtly is not the right word.
I was going to say,
no.
let me say, if you want me to be
subtle.
blatantly, a movie that's blatantly racist against Japanese culture and then calling them Chinese because you accidentally f***ed up in a song beforehand without education.
And also Brazilian for some reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I Want to Be Ninja is that film.
You use the word subtle like this film's title uses the word movie.
Exactly. Yes.
Yes. Okay. It's fair. And I did know what I was doing when I pitched this one, and I shouldn't even say pitched. I was just like, yeah, you guys are going to watch it and you're going to like it. And that was kind of my thought process going in. But my God, when you're hammered on your 23rd birthday and you're watching I Want to Be Ninja, the movie, after jokingly in your office playing the song with your buddy for the last 4 days, that is the way you watch a movie. And my God, if it didn't tempt me at the end to buy a Murphy bed, you guys would be lying.
Yeah, I had no idea any of this was Murphy beds. When Jason said Murphy bed, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
You guys didn't know? You didn't realize this was all an elaborate ploy to sell beds to the masses?
I just wanted the movie to be over.
It's all a ploy by Big Bed.
It's a huge ploy by Big Bed. And you know what? You can relegate my name to this right now. A Big Chow fan. Big man of the Chow. That man, if you want to know how to write a villain in a film, that's how you do it right there.
Yeah, let's play a rap song about the villain. Let's play a rap song about the villain, sure.
Yeah. And hey, if you're not sitting there in his little gaming dungeon being like, I wish I lived in that place. I wished I had that same gaming dungeon. You're lying. That man is like an antisocial person wanted to make a bat cave and cosplay. Dare I say, ladies and gentlemen, that I Want to Be Ninja is the greatest piece of garbage that I've ever seen in my life.
Ooh.
And I rest my case.
Lyle.
Jason, give me the ball. Thank you.
It's your number 5.
Thank you for that.
Please kindly take the baseball bat and bludgeon Carson with it for me.
I like how you sat and told like a Ron McClane-esque intro of this. The whole time you were doing that, I was thinking of like Ron McClane. The year was 2023, and I was sitting in my friend's basement.
In Oakville, Ontario, with my family from Mississauga.
With my family, and we decided to watch a film that can only be described as hot garbage, to the point where I'm not sure it was a movie. Carson, you have done something that 2 people on this podcast have tried very hard to do over the course. Jason, how long have I been appearing on your shows?
I don't know. How long does your therapist say?
I think it's been 4 or 5 years now, because it's since before I started school. So let's say 4 or 5 years. I didn't finish this thing. I didn't finish this abomination. I wasn't sitting through 2 hours of this. There's no way. So I got about 30 minutes into this movie till about the second song, and I was like, he broke me. He did it. He officially did. He made something. I knew it was going to be my 5 after the first 2 minutes. I had never seen the original YouTube video, the background information on this. I had no idea what this is going in. And within the first 5 minutes, you have a lady singing like in a racist accent, a Chinese song, and 3 mentions of Donny Boy as well. We love the Murphy beds.
Huge Donald Trump stan. Yeah.
We love the Murphy beds. They're great beds. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit through it. I was like, whoever picked this was some kind of sadomasochist, like that guy from the Da Vinci Code that just whips himself for fun. I couldn't imagine anybody sitting and enjoying this film. I don't know why it was made. I guess the girl got viral, and hey, we can shoot a whole movie on an iPhone and release it as a major release, right? Because that's the quality. There was times where there was no hot mic at all. They were talking and audio like it. And I got 30 minutes into it, and I looked at Natasha and I was like, this is the first time I'm doing this, but we are not completing this motion picture. It is not a movie. It is some kind of weird, like YouTube holding of your ground when the pitchforks and torches came out to cancel you over a racist Murphy bed commercial, apparently. It is number 5 forever. And Jason, it replaces Dungeon Siege.
Wow. Oh my goodness. All right.
Is it bad that I'm proud of it?
It's to quote Jeff Goldblum again, that is one steaming pile of shit.
All right. Carson.
Yes, sir.
You're not quite aware of the potential widespread damage you could have caused with this film. So let me explain. First of all, watched this film earlier this week. I, being a gigging musician, had a show last night before we recorded this episode. And this song was stuck in my head the entire time, to the point of like, I almost went to the mic going, I want to be ninja. No. I almost subjected a bar full of people, Alex among them, to this song because of you. But also, okay, so here's where I get really, really mad. And I don't even want to get into the whole idea of the completely entitled, far too much money for her own smarts kind of production. I have problems with the creator-verse kind of channels that are on Tubi and that kind of stuff to begin with. But I'm not going to go down that road, because I watched this movie with headphones on, and I stayed all the way through it, Lyle. I stayed all the way. I suffered for people here. This film is the worst edited piece of shit to ever call itself a movie that I have ever seen in my entire life.
Yes.
The audio was going from my left ear to my right ear to my left ear to my right ear. Find someone who knows how to edit. And by the way, Jennifer Murphy is also listed as an editor on this film, and that completely squares. Did she pay Quentin Tarantino money for use of the music from Kill Bill? Because I guarantee you she probably didn't. This film, it's not even a film. It's like a bad attempt at an apology video. Like, you know that girl with the freaking ukulele that tried to do an apology video and she sang her apology video? This literally said, hold my Murphy bed. I'm going to do one better. I can't even believe. Carson, Oh, I'm going to find a movie for you, Carson, and you're going
This
to watch
might
it.
be
And hate
this
for
might
it.
be my least favorite piece of media. And here's the thing, like you touched on it a bit, Jason. The movie, of course, is terrible. There are other movies that have been made like this. Like there was a Fred movie. There's been a lot of YouTubers that have taken a stab at making movies. Markiplier has done it to great success because he is an actual creative person and not an actual piece of person like this woman seems to be. So that's the other thing I have against this. Not just the movie, but the person behind it is also terrible by all intents. Because I did do some hate homework after I was done my 30 minutes. I was like, who is this? Like, who this into the world and called it a movie and expected to make money off it? And the deeper I delved, the more I hated it. So it's on every front, this is terrible. Like,
yeah, no.
Okay.
It's barely even a film. It's like a bunch of little skits thrown together, interspersed with occasional moments of, this is who I am, and this is why I'm not sorry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an hour and 20-minute long infomercial. It's exactly what it is. And I will say, just as a question before we continue, how many of you, either beforehand or after watching it, went and watched the original video of the song?
I wasn't giving her a single click. No, sir.
No.
Because there's much
I
content.
did, and I'm so sorry I did.
But I will say I respected Jay because there's so much context to the original video that adds to the terribleness of the film. Like the fact that if you watch the video, you'll know when she starts singing strictly about the Asian portion that there's an Asian woman in the background that looks so viscerally uncomfortable about what she's singing.
I like how you're breaking this down as if it's the MCU timeline. Like, no.
buddy,
No, if you go
is
back to phase
event.
1.
This is a whole event.
This is
And
a
that
freaking Zapruder film for him.
Yes, and if you go back and you watch the video, you'll then realize that the woman in the background that looks so unbelievably uncomfortable about this racist song appears in the movie. She makes a cameo after being so visually offended by this piece of media. And that's what I call salesmanship.
Alex, it's your number 5. What you got?
Was anyone surprised that this was going to be my number 5? Like, please. Okay, before I go into the bashing of Carson that he absolutely, most definitely deserves, Jason, do I at least get a pass for Norbit after this?
I'm going to somehow create the It's Not That Bad Hall of Shame. And I think the first movie that's going to have its banner raised is I Want to Be Ninja.
This makes
Is it bad that I'm proud of that though?
This makes Norbit looks like the Shawshank Redemption.
Flex! And I now forgive you, Jason, for giving me Last Days of American Crime. Because this is the fucking worst. Carson, I fucking despise you after this bullshit.
Oh my God. Poor
This
Carson.
is the most offensive and most pandering movie I have ever watched. I'm telling you right now. So I've been dating a girl for two months now, and I was talking to her the entire time about this movie, and I was like, I really want this movie to end. This movie never knew when to end. It felt longer than an hour 25. It felt like I was sitting there for 3 hours.
It was an hour and a half.
Yes.
You gotta build up the real backstory of Chow. I mean,
no, we don't need anything of that.
This wasn't an hour 20.
This movie to die.
This movie's
we need this movie to die.
Movie's
You're right,
35 minutes long.
You do need to build the backstory of Chow, which they didn't do.
No. You have a rap song of him being the villain.
You're telling me right now that you didn't get a little bit of a flutter in your heart when you understood the kid's pain of losing his comic book?
No.
Yeah, I got a flutter in my heart. It was an arrhythmia. I thought I was gonna go into cardiac arrest. Man, this is like a whole nother level of bad. Like, this is worse than the Melania movie, which I did watch. This is worse than that.
That was worse?
This is worse than the Melania movie.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure we're going to have to talk about the Melania movie next year when we get to the Razzie special.
Oh, God.
But yeah. Joseph.
Lyle. Before I'm sorry, but before I go to Joseph, Lyle, I commend of you for leaving this movie early. I
Wasn't doing it.
commend of you.
I wasn't doing it.
This, I fully wish I could have ended this movie
Within
early,
the first
but I just
10
couldn't.
minutes, within the first 10 minutes, there's 3 mentions of how much she loves Donald Trump, and then she does a very bad Asian accent, and I'm like, this is a rockin' start. Like, we are just on an absolute tear for like starting off on the wrong foot, and then we got to Chow, and I got through 10 minutes of Chow, and I'm like, no, I will throw my credibility out the window. I don't care.
And she said that she wants to be ninja. What are we doing here? This is an infomercial. She doesn't do any knife skills, nothing. We see none of that.
Hold on.
What am I doing here?
Can someone please explain to me how where is the red string that goes from Murphy bed to ninja?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Jason.
Does it go through Albuquerque? Does it make that left turn? Joseph.
I had no idea this is about Murphy beds. That makes it so funny to me.
It's your number 5 as well.
Yeah.
Please join the group therapy session here.
Yeah. I mean, I was a lot like Lyle in that I did watch it in its entirety in a way. Like my finger was on the fast forward button through like basically the entire last half hour. I was like, I'm not.
Yeah, there's no shame of anyone skipping through this movie, I will say.
Yeah, I kind of had to do that. It's unbelievably bad. Like, there's absolutely nothing substantial about this. It should not exist. Like, there are 2 pieces of media that we've talked about today that just should not exist in any form. They're Food Fight and they're this. I mean, at least Food Fight in some way, Lyle obviously has some educational basis for it existing in terms of this is what you don't do. But the thing that I found most jarring is that, that introduction of the Asian woman. And then it's like used as like a token of like the old sitcom trope of the, high class white lady who's like, no, I'm not racist. My neighbor's cousin lived in a predominantly African American community.
1000%.
Like, I can't be racist. I'm not racist. I have
black friends. I can't be racist. I have black friends.
100%. The whole thing feels like one of those bits.
Oh yeah, it was awful. It was just an awful thing to watch in every single facet. I had to, every time that song started up, that's when my finger went to the fast forward button. And it's Carson, man. Listen, I had nothing against you before this started. I thought you were a completely lovely person, a great guy. I have legitimate questions and concerns. I think that, like the Charlie Sheen thing, just going back to that, I know it's been a while since you brought that up, but like, I think that that's a legitimate cause of alarm. And I think that your loved one should probably check up on you. And
I didn't say I condone Charlie Sheen. I said I was rewatching 2.5, man.
And then this is just there's cherry on the cake cake. Anyway.
Okay.
The cherry on the Sunday.
But we're going to end this with Carrie, who has this as her number 4.
Oh,
you're damn right you do.
I do. Okay. Carson, well played, sir. Well played.
Thank you.
Slow clap with one hand. I don't know if you can hear this, but well played. Because I think you broke all of us. And if that was the intention, well played. Respect. I knew that I was in trouble within the first 5 minutes. I know that the consensus has been, okay, we watched like 10 minutes in, kind of jump shipped about half an hour through. But I knew 5 minutes in that this movie would be trouble because how it started, it was almost kind of like those old, and I'm talking like old black and white, educational movies that when you see the VCR being rolled in, I said VCR, yep, tape. That's, with the 2 wheels and the tape that spins around. When the teacher would bring in an educational movie that coincides with the lesson plan of the day. And the pre-film setting up the history of a ninja and, you know, the little bit of background information on the martial art and the art form of ninjas and the training that goes into it and what's involved in becoming a ninja. And then Jennifer Murphy must have missed something in that educational video. And I don't know. She created this I Want to Be Ninja theme song. It feels like a terrible joke that's awkwardly being repeated. Like, hey, isn't that funny? It's being done to death. And it's like masking the ignorance through sensationalism and how it was mentioned, you know, the uncomfortable woman who unfortunately had to be a part of the original video, which seems to be the source material for this movie, this film, that it was almost kind of like, yeah, okay, I created this terrible racist piece of shit, but now I'm going to do it to death, and I'm going to get my ninja knife and just keep stabbing because I can. You know, she was a pageant queen, and, you know, okay, good on her. She shared her backstory. That's great. That's fantastic. With all of that said, I strangely didn't hate this movie.
You're damn right you didn't.
And and I want to give respect where respect is due. There was an element of girl power and empowering other women and building each other up and fixing each other's crowns. So I, as a woman on this panel, stand alone in saying, good job, Miss Jennifer Murphy.
You go, girl.
For rising, no, let me finish. For rising above the cyberbullying and
which we are all taking part of now, yes.
Showing and showing that, you know what, hurt people. And that was the whole element with Chow, right? Like, he had a tragic event in his childhood with his unicorn toy, his stuffy, his best friend, his only friend. And so from that hurt, he made, you know, his life's goal to attack and to bully Miss Murphy in all of her endeavors. And, you know, it showed an element of forgiveness, and it showed an element of rising above the hate and whether you deserve it or not. And yes, she damn well did deserve the hate thrown at her for the ninja song. Incredibly racist and just toneless and horrible. And it's almost kind of like she took that and tried to put a good story behind it. So kudos to Miss Murphy for that. I put it at a 4 only because of Food Fight. And that's saying a lot. You know, I certainly wouldn't go back and rewatch this movie.
I'd like to point out that this movie is now proof that Idiocracy is a documentary.
Wow. Carrie is the only true patriot on this panel. Knows it's not a 5. It's a 4. At least a 4, quite frankly.
A big league 4, yes. All right. So before we get to which is the cream of the crap, let's go through and remind our listeners how we ranked these films going from number 5 to number 1. Carson, let's hear your ranking.
All right, my number 5 was my bread and butter. I Want to Be Ninja. I'm not crazy here. I know that it's a 5, but you know what? The fact that Carrie gave it a 4, we got a team rolling right here. We know what we have. And as it may be, we got a movement going here. But my number 4 then goes to Jack and Jill. My number 3 is Biodome. Number 2 is Avatar, and number 1 is the almighty food fight, like the king we are.
All right, Joseph.
Yeah, well, at number 5, I have I Want to Be Ninja. Number 4, I have Food Fight. Number 3, I have The Last Airbender. Number 2, I have Biodome. And at number 1, I have Jack and Jill.
Alex.
At number 5, you, Carson. I have the I Want to Be Ninja, the movie. At number 4, Lyle, you have a pass for now, but you're on my radar after that animation. Food Fight. Number 3, I have Jack and Jill. Number 2, I have The Last Airbender. And number 1, I have Biodome.
Lyle.
All right. Number 5, Carson, your picks are bad and you should feel bad. It's I Want to Be Ninja. At number 4, it is Food Fight. At number 3, it's Jack and Jill. Number 2 is Biodome. And number 1 is Avatar.
Carrie.
Number 5 is Food Fight. Number 4 is I Want to Be Ninja. I don't even want to say it properly. Number 3 is Biodome. Number 2 is Avatar, The Last Airbender. And number 1, Jack and Jill.
All right, I've got I Want to Be Ninja at number 5, Food Fight number 4, Biodome at number 3, Jack and Jill at number 2, and The Last Airbender at number 1. All right, let's get to the aggregate here. And I want to point out, I Want to Be Ninja is the first entry into the Hall of Shame for this podcast. We were a carry vote away from a perfect score. So,
woohoo! Way to break the streak.
With an average of 4.83, I Want to Be Ninja is the bottom of the barrel. Food Fight comes next with a 3.67 score. Jack and Jill and Biodome both sit tied for second with a 2.33 average and with a 1.83 average. The Last Airbender, directed by M. Night Shyamalan. Guys, thank you so much for presenting to me and showing me the error of my ways in some of the movies that I have handed you guys in the past. I feel like I should be apologizing, but I have a feeling that this intervention has finally shown me the error of my ways, and just you wait till the next one, guys. But let's go around the horn and let everyone know what you've been up to. Carson, what you up to?
You know what? These days I'm kicking around Regina, Saskatchewan. If you want to give me some more ratings, tune into the Late Show, Global News, and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And that's where you can find me on Twitter or X at CarsonElk12.
Joseph.
Hey, find me on the social medias at Joseph Whalen 17, and then on the X machine, it's called the Twitter machine, at Joe Whalen 17, and that's where you can find me.
Alex.
Well, you guys can find me on Footy Frenzy and on Screen Circuit, which I'm going to be making more videos of now that I have a lot more time. And you guys can also find me on Twitter and on Instagram at a.leal2026.
Lyle.
You guys can find me doing my own podcast called Sabotage Everything. Do it with a tag team out of the Maritimes. We talk pro wrestling. You can find that on North Pro Canadian Wrestling's YouTube page. Also, check out all of their live streams, as I also do the commentary for that promotion as well.
And of course, you can listen to Carrie right here on It's Not That Bad. And of course, over on There Can Only Be One as well. Guys, thank you so much for this celebration of 5 years of the It's Not That Bad podcast. It is literally insane that over 400 episodes exist on this channel across all the various shows. And I have all your pain and suffering to thank for some of these movies and some of these episodes. So thank you all to everyone on the panel. And to you, our dear listeners, I want you to remember, I will have my revenge come the next grading. Oh yes, that time is coming. Or in October, when Mocktober returns, for yet another year of craptastic asylum fun. But until that time, you know the drill. If there's a movie out there that you think is unfairly maligned or so bad that there is no way in whatever the hell I Want to Be a Ninja is, hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast or go to our website, notthatbadcast.com. And make sure you bookmark that page because the brand spanking new show Under 5 Top 5 now exists. The first episode is up, and that will be returning to take over the There Can Only Be One airwaves come November. But until next time, he's Carson, he's Joseph, he's Alex, he's Lyle, she's Carrie, and I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Grading on a Curve, the 5-year anniversary special on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.